Hello, and welcome to Reader's Retreat. This is my May TBR, and I'm doing it live. And I hope y'all going to enjoy this and get going with a lot of stuff. So, hey, little M, how are you doing? Hey, Terry. So, what am I going to be reading in May? Well, that's a very easy question for me. Now, I hope you all stick around because it is going to be uh, a good one, and I'm doing good. I'm doing good, hon. Thank you. Now, I will be reading "The Witch with No Name" by Kim Harrison, and I need to get this started. I decided that I'm going to be reading this on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's going to be this book and only this book on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Then Mondays and Wednesdays will be Catwoman by Sarah J. Moss. Hey, Paul. And that's going to be for Mondays and Wednesdays. So that's how I'm going to split these books up. On the weekend, I'm still reading The Stand by Stephen King. That's my weekend read. I read that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And and last week I didn't read nothing. I did not read one word last week at all. Now those are the three main ones that I'm going to be reading. And I got some books I'm going to be reading. When I don't feel like reading any of those, I'm going to be reading some graphic novels. And one of them is Princes of Darkness, which is a JSA. And JSA is my favorite team in the DC universe. They've always been my favorite from the originals. And so I'll be picking up a lot of these. And thing is, usually I can read graphic novels in one setting. So that is, and the we're joining. I got Captain America, and these is I can't wait to read this again. Yes, I've read it before. I read all my graphic novels when I first get them, and then later on I reread them. But this is the one I'm looking forward to the most, and it is The Tomb of Dracula. And it is just they take the stories from Dracula magazine number 2 through 6, Dracula Lives number 1 through 13, and Frankenstein Monster number 7 through 9 to create this one volume. So, and the art is fantastic. I love this old art, and I love the smell of these. Okay, that's a few. That's a few of them. So, I just wanted to show you what I'm going to be reading this coming month, but that ain't the only ones I'm going to be reading. Okay. Now I decided to have a certain thing for all mornings. I read days. I read my books and stuff like that in the afternoon and evening, but I wanted something to read in the mornings, and I came up with a great idea. In the mornings, every morning that I want to read, I am going to start in May. Yeah, with this book. This is going to be whenever I read in the mornings. This I'll be picking up this book. And yes, you don't know what it is yet, but that's besides the point. And then I'm going to put up a. I'm going to put up a poll to see uh, which one will be read next. So, but this one here is called Weird Women. It is a collection of short stories from 1852 to 1923. And every morning that I want to read, I'm going to read a story out of this. The first one would be The Old Nurse's Story. And it is Weird Women, classic supernatural fiction by groundbreaking female writers. These are the writers. I mean, back in these days, women did not write books or stories. And it is awesome. Now, the person that wrote The Old Nurse's Story is Elizabeth Gaskell. She was personal friends with a editor of a magazine, and that personal friend was Charles Dickens. That's right. Charles Dickens was an editor for a magazine back in that day. And this story, she wrote somewhere between 1810 and 1865, because 1810 is when she was born, 1865 is when she died. So she wrote somewhere in between there, and it's a awesome thing. I wanted to see what some of these women is. Now, the thing is, some of these women would use men's names, like their husbands. They would use their husbands' names to get published. So, but in here they give you the real names of the authors. So I will be starting this any mornings I wake up in the mornings. That means I mean it doesn't matter if I don't wake up until 3, because 3 o'clock in the afternoon will be a morning to me because I just woke up. But like this morning, I could have read a story or two out of here. Because I've been up since 5:30 this morning. So this is going to be on the May read, and I'm going to stick it right there. And I mean, it is a great thing. Yeah, when I seen that book, I go, I have to have that book because of the time that these women wrote. So now the thing is, I will be putting up a poll later on today. So make sure you check the community page. And the books that I'm going to put up 5 books of short stories on here, and to see which one of those books I'm going to read after I'm done with this book. So the first one is edited by Ross E. Lockhart, and these are tales inspired by H.P. Lovecraft, but there's different authors, and this is the Book of Cthulhu, and it's a bunch of short stories. But let's see, we have any name popping out at me that's wrote in here? Nope, not one. All these are different people that wrote these stories, and I think it'd be a good short story book for me to read in the mornings. Awesome. Glad to hear that, Paul. And we have this book. Yes, it's thick, but it's not going to go on the weekend. This is A Treasury of Swashbuckling Adventures. So, and this is done by a lot of different ones, like Arthur Conan Doyle, Harold Lamb, Sidney Levett Eats, Anthony Hope. So there's some decent writers in this one. So I can't wait to get into this one also. But I figured this is a good way to read short stories, is during them in the mornings. And so I am going to start doing that, and I'm just going to read 1, maybe 2 stories in the mornings with my coffee, and until I get the book done. Now, here's a short story book that would be in the poll, and this is by Paul Trimley, and it's called Grown Things. And all the stories in this book is by him. And I've never read the man myself, so I don't know much about him. I do know that he wrote The Cabin at the End of the World. But in here you see stories as Grown Things, Swim Wants to Know If It's as Bad as Swim Thinks, The Getaway, Where We All Will Be, The Teacher, and stuff like that. So, Paul Trimley. I've heard great things about his writing, and I figured to start me out on his writing, the short story collection would be the best way to go. And I love pirate stories, that's for sure. And I'm sorry I have to keep turning this off and on. But you okay now? Okay. Now we have this book. And this is a collection of Victorian detective tales. And it's called The Rivals of Sherlock Holmes. Right there. So this is the rivals of Sherlock Holmes. That means that during the time of Sherlock Holmes, these other detectives was being wrote also. Uh, so, and here we got, let's see, Lost Diamonds, Unknown Weapon, Adventures of the Clothesline, The Angel of the Lord, The Wire Devil, The Great Ruby Robbery, and stuff like that. So, this is all detectives. So, that's be the fourth book that would be on the poll. And the last book on the poll will be Great Ghost Stories. It says 101 Terrifying Tales. Right there. And we have let's see, H.D. Everett writes The Lonely Road. R.H. Benson writes Father Macclesfield Tale. The House of the Nightmare by Edward Lucas White. How he left the hotel by Louisa Baldwin. So there's some great stories in here also. And here's one by Jerome K. Jerome, and it is called The Haunted Mill or the Ruined Home. So I am going to get back into my short stories. I have a lot of short story collections that I can read. Hey, Cherry, how you doing, hon? So the Great Ghost Stories is going to be one of the ones that's going to be on the poll for me to read after I read Weird Women. And this here is done. These stories was wrote between 1852 and 1923. So these are the women that paved the way for women writers. Good. Glad to hear it. So, and the thing is, I chose this book because it is a horror, a short story collection. It's ghost stories. And a friend of mine, the Bookish Bryant's, does May Horror Month, and I'm going to just read this book for that, and hopefully I get this done in May. And but this is what I'm going to do for that one. So anyway, that's what I got for you. That's what my TBR is. And I will be putting up these other books on a poll to see what's going to be next after Weird Women. And go on from there. So I want to thank everybody that showed up. I want to thank everybody that was here. I want to thank everybody that commented that you all are awesome. And I'll be talking to you all soon. So you all take care. Keep your imagination going. And I'll see y'all in the Funny Papers.